So here we are at Accountex, it's day one, and I'm with an old friend, Lara, Squires of Consortium. Lara, hello.
Hi, how are you?
I'm doing great. Now, you're a veteran of many Accountexes. You've been in this game a long time. It's been a while since we've been face to face. How are you feeling?
Amazing. It's such a busy, buzzy show. There's lots of nice free gifts.
Are you getting the swag?
I'm getting the swag.
Okay. You don't look very laden down with... Oh, there you go. Okay.
Very nice. And the speakers, like the content, the diversity is immense.
There's not much that you don't know, but in terms of objectives, Lara, what do you plan when you come to a day like this? Because you're not exhibiting today, you're not speaking, but this is your world, isn't it?
Yeah, so I've brought my head of accountancy with me, so it's hearing what the other speakers are saying, it's talking to the accountants that are here, it's talking to the suppliers, and just listening, really. We don't actually have an agenda, it's more about hearing what they've got to say, taking that away, digesting it, and then sharing it with our network.
Yeah. Well, we've got Accountex in the background here. This is very much the flagship event. You go to a lot of these events, particularly in the legal sector as well, you do a lot in. Do you notice any difference between what we're seeing here and what you might see at other events? Well, live, there's people going across the
You wanted the controversy. So there is a legal one that's similar, it's a similar name. It's a third in size, and their last one was in November, so it was still COVID times, but I just think we actually had to queue to get in.
Yes.
So I think
fancy that, queuing.
Fancy that, queuing to get into an expo. So I just think the accountants possibly are a little bit more engaged, and some of the suppliers I was talking to say that they come here to research suppliers and change suppliers. So I just think they're a little bit maybe more business savvy, thinking about how they can do things differently and wanting to learn a little bit more, which is great.
What about the vendors, legal compared to accounting? Are they more aggressive, are they more in tune, are they more techie, or is it more the same?
I mean, there's 3 times the exhibitors here that there is at the other one. I had no idea there were so many software companies in accountancy.
You've got a fraction of them as well.
Yeah, I think maybe that's it. Maybe there are more suppliers to the accountancy sector, but they've all got beautiful stands, they're doing interesting things to engage with people, they're not pushy. I mean, we're not accountants, so obviously we're not their target audience, but they're also open to a chat. So we've had a few people where we're like, could we help you? How could we help you? And we hopefully got an invite on Iris's boat.
You'll be at the after party with Chris Moyles. Fantastic.
Well, I want the invite for next year because we can't make tonight, so I've already put myself on the list ready for next year.
There's nothing wrong with that. What would ever make you exhibit here, Lara?
Well, I am thinking about it. I think the challenge for us as a small business is we don't want too much, which I know sounds a ridiculous thing to say.
You create a load of demand for what you're doing and you've got a problem there, haven't you?
Yeah, exactly. You'd have to be able to service it. But I am tempted, and that's not happened before, so I think they're obviously doing a great job here with the pre-marketing to get people to come along, what they're doing on the day, the diversity of stands, the engaging talks. It's all good.
You're quite strategic in the way you think, I know. So would you be scoping out stands and saying that's a good place to have that? I'd never put ours there. I like what they've done with that.
Yeah, I think one of the tricky things will be is the size of businesses that are here. They've got some quite good stands.
Yes.
I don't have a 50 grand budget for stands, so I'm not going to be having the bar that I think Zero have got.
Well, we're having a little competition actually for the best small stand.
Oh, are you?
We're giving them a packet of Haribos as the winner, so
we've
I'll
let you know.
splashed out.
I'll go and have a look.
But you can be innovative, can't you, in a small space?
You really can. I mean, I think there was some small stands that I said I definitely wouldn't want, so there's some really little ones.
Okay, so you'd go bigger slightly, would you?
Yeah, I think there's a size you have. I think 3x2 you have to at least be.
Right.
Otherwise,
you're not in the game. Okay.
Maybe don't. Yeah, I don't know. That's personally how I feel. And obviously, we're standing in front of Free Agent, and they've got some cool freestanding stands where it's not a shell scheme, so that's really clever. So I think you can really put your own stamp on it.
Well, you're a thought leader, you're a content creator, you're a speaker. Would you get more involved on the speaking and theatre side of it? Because you've got lots of messages to share.
I love talking, Rob, as you know. So yeah, I'd love to get involved in the speaking. But I think I'd want to do some more research to really find out what people want to hear about, and not just regurgitate the same stuff. I mean, I've got a lot of standard talks that I do, but I think it would be nice to come up with something quite fresh and different for the audience.
That's a really good point. If you look at all the theatres around here, there's so many different topics.
And they're all full.
They are. And there's clearly a hunger for the CPD, the personal development, and learning new things. You and I both know accountants and lawyers, though. They are so overwhelmed with all of the things they need to know. And once they've learned all the things, then taking that back to the office and implementing that can be a challenge, can't it?
I think maybe actually on that note, something around the top 5 things you must do. So keeping it easy.
Like that.
Yeah, so it's implementable, it's not too challenging, they can do it as soon as they get back and create a habit so that it continues. So I think the challenge, as you say, with these things, you come, you learn loads of stuff, and then you go off and never do it again. So I think it's about making it implementable, relevant, and easy-ish.
Well, you said top 5 things, that's 3 at least.
Yeah.
So that's good. And consortium, I know what you do. For the audience watching this, explain a little bit
I've got
about
a man standing in front of me.
Well, it's live, and we do get a lot of this, and people just walk past. They don't know how famous we both are.
Do you know who I am? So Consortium are a full-service marketing agency. We specialise in the professional service sector. So I've got my associate director, Kat, who's the head of accountancy, with me today.
Kat Vaness, let's give her a shout out.
Kat Vaness, my lovely cat. I've someone in the team called a kitty cat today.
Lovely.
I can see that sticking. Maybe only on nights out.
That's not going away, is it?
No. We work with clients that like us and we like them. We have a bit of a rule that if it's somebody we'd like to go to the pub with, I think that's a good rule.
Okay.
Yeah. Would you go to the pub with them? Yes. They can be a client.
And in marketing for accounting firms, what are they asking you for most at the moment? What's hard?
I think it's mainly just so that it can be off their desk, and that's maybe one of the things we offer that's different is we do take it off their desk for them and deal with everything. So whether it's their website, whether it's their messaging, their content, their communications with clients, we will just look after it all for them. And I think that's what they need, because they're expert at what they're expert at, we're expert at what we're at, and we make it happen.
Yeah. And finally, what do you feel are the 2, 3 key skills attributes that accountants are going to need in the future to stay relevant and to compete?
Really interesting point. Amanda Watts is talking at the moment, and she's doing some really interesting stuff around how you position yourself.
Okay.
So I think it is that you've got to learn to sell yourself. You have got to learn to sell yourself and what value you're adding to a client. And Kat and I were also talking earlier about whether they champion a particular software. So not necessarily being Sage and Xero and, but picking
More
one.
agnostic.
Picking one and...
Okay.
No, yeah, so not doing all of them, but actually picking one and putting their stall out and saying, this is what you should use, truly being expert in it. And I know that might be tricky, but as a consumer, I would want to know my accountant was an expert in what I was using.
Accountants can't be an expert in everything though, so they do have to pick a lane, don't they?
Yeah, exactly, that's it.
That.
So they can't, can you truly offer all of
And
the
you're in
services?
marketing, so you know the power of niching and specialising and defining your target audience and where you're going to play.
Yeah, and I think as well it's charging appropriately. That was another thing that came out of that talk just now, is charging what you're worth. And actually have a situation where you are willing to say no to the wrong type of clients.
Yeah. Final question, Lara. Been great talking to you. If you and I are having this chat in 2 or 3 years' time, it's hard to predict the future, I know. What might have changed? What kind of things do you think we'll be talking about? Where's your world going with marketing for
I'd
professional
like it to
firms?
have changed. My worry in the whole professional service world is that change takes a very long time. We were meant to have moved to this more advisory, consultant, accountant 5 years ago, and they still haven't.
Yeah.
So I would love to say change has happened in 3 years. But the realist in me feels like we might be having a similar conversation, but maybe more will have adopted.
A little bit further down the road.
A little bit further down the road. And maybe in 3 years, I'll be saying, in the following 3 years, some more change will have happened.
Yeah. Well, Lara Squires, that's been brilliant. Thanks so much for your time and your passion today.